And get rid of that. Live chat, all messages are visible. Okay, hey, welcome. Welcome to Soldiers of Self-Mastery. Welcome to Soldiers of Self-Mastery YouTube TV with your breakthrough coach, mind, mouth, power, connection, results coach, right out of Stockton, California. March 23rd, 1:21 p.m. Let's see if, hey, we got somebody that's visiting. I see you on the other side. I'd love to know who you are. Anyhow, what are we doing today on this live broadcast? I was recently watching a little bit of the clip of the scene in Boulder, Colorado. Tragedy. When I watched that video, all I could say to myself was 10 people gunned down. 10 people gunned down in Boulder, Colorado. Just being in the supermarket, you know, who knows, maybe purchasing a steak for a barbecue, or maybe they had some event that they were preparing for, a birthday party, or just they were grocery shopping. Gunned down. Previous to that, it was the Asian thing going on with the sex or the massage parlors. It's time to really toughen up. It's time to toughen up and really think about where we are today. We never know. We never know what we will have to face tomorrow. You just never know. Most people today in the world are living in complete fear. 98% of the population, 99% are living in complete fear. Most hide it very well. Most are hiding it very well. But most people today are living in complete fear. I wonder why. Why are people living in fear? I really wonder why. Well, the facts. You don't have to go very far to see what's happening in our world. You've got women, young women, you've got older women, you've got young men, you've got older men that are willing to strap on some device and blow themselves up in the name of some belief, in the name of some false god. You see, these individuals are being deceived themselves. They don't know. They don't know. They think that they're going to blow themselves up and they're going to end up in a better place. That's what they believe. They've been convinced. They have been persuaded, influenced by a dark force. Doesn't necessarily have to be another man or another woman. It could be by a spirit. Santos, do you believe in spirits? Of course I believe in spirits. They're called angels. In fact, there's another word. They're called demons. And some people call them aliens. The aliens are coming, they say. Well, the aliens they're already here. It's a beautiful day. I'm sitting here in a parking lot in front of Lowe's hardware store. I just had some lunch and I'm just thinking it's a beautiful day, a bit windy. Been noticing excessive wind here in this area. Something that I pay attention to because not a couple of weeks ago, a tree right down from where I live, a big, huge tree branch fell on top of a car, probably about 25 to 30 feet from where I live, in front, crushed the vehicle. Big old. I'm glad there wasn't anybody sleeping in that car, because they would have been killed instantly. Things can turn really bad in a moment's notice. Should we live in fear? Should we walk around living in fear? Or should we be more concerned about what's happening around us, and what am I thinking? How is my thinking today? I've watched people cross the street with a pair of headphones on at a four-way intersection. I've watched individuals at times walk across the street, not bother to look to the right, to the left. Double takes. I've seen cars. I've been at an intersection. In fact, numerous times, I've seen cars. The light turned green, and for some reason I hesitated, and I've seen cars go right through the red light, speeding through the red light. I remember at least on 2 occasions, probably a few months back, here close by where I take my car for service. Enjoy your family. Appreciate what you have. This gambling BS, the alcohol, I mean, some people do it. I think that it's becoming more excessive these days, because people are drowning themselves away from the reality of what's really happening. And therefore, the fear is being covered up by most people. What we need to do is we need to look at ourselves, and we need to really look at the situations that we find ourselves in, and we must toughen up. My friend, you must toughen up. How do you do that? You got to create a plan. And that plan starts out inside of your head. If you're not working here, a lot of people are not working here. They're working outside this thing, and things are not going well. Well, here's my recommendation. Begin working inside here. Because when you begin to control your emotional intelligence, when you begin to control your emotions, you can step into places and you can begin to run. Actually, we have to be prepared, and living in fear is not an option. Living in fear, if you're living in fear, you should find a way. Actually, you can remove that fear from your life, but you will not remove the fear from the world, because the world is growing in fear. There's a lot of fear. And why is it? Why is it? My condolences to those families that have lost loved ones. That police officer the first responder to the scene there in Boulder, Colorado, in that supermarket, was a police officer who was recently awarded some award recently. 7 children are left fatherless now. Obviously, probably was married. We have no idea. You know, you might find yourself in a situation like that. I often think to myself, because I travel and I go to different places. I don't just stay at home. Most people are not traveling that much. Well, a lot of people are not traveling, but then again, we are moving out. This COVID-19 hoax, if you will, that's the way I look at it. Are people dying? People are dying from the flu. They're dying from a strange form of a virus that's out there. Some. But you know what? I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to be intimidated. I know one day I'm going to leave this planet. One day I'll find myself in a casket, or others will find me in a casket, buried. One day that's coming. It's coming for all of us. But to live in fear, that's not an option. Think about what it means to live in fear. What does fear do to people? You know, when you live in fear, you can easily be controlled by something, by others. People that gamble, that go into casinos, are they living in fear? What is it that they're chasing? They're chasing something, and it's really not the gamble. They might believe that they're chasing, maybe they're chasing money, right? Because they believe the more money that they have, the more security that they can get. Well, that's true to a certain degree. The more money that you have, the more bodyguards, the more security guards that you can have by your side, right? You can have all of these, whatever, machine guns and when death comes a knocking at our door, we're not going to be able to stop it. But I'll tell you what we will be able to stop. If it's not our time and we find ourselves at the wrong place at the wrong time, if you live in fear, if you are not emotional, if you don't have your emotional intelligence within you, rising up within you every single day so that you become awoke or awake, what will be the conclusion? I had an experience earlier. I was at the car dealership. I've been getting the runaround. I purchased a new car 2 years ago. The car has a couple of issues. I almost got thrown out of the dealership because I stood up for myself. I almost literally got thrown out of the dealer. I don't think they were going to throw me out, but they did ask me to leave. Not being heard. Isn't that the pit? You buy a brand new car, you buy a house, and of course, if you don't do your homework before, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be a problem with your car, there's always going to be. It's how we deal with those things. It's how we deal with the people and what we allow as human beings, as a consumer, what we allow others. If you're not being heard in some area in your life, here's a good recommendation. Of course, you should be a good person. You should be building yourself up as a good person. But if you're not being heard in some area, go above the place. Go above. Make contact with people in a higher caliber. Make contact with people at a higher place, a higher stance or position. If you're not being heard, walk away. It's not worth the argument. It's not worth getting into a fight and causing a situation where it can get easily out of hand. And believe me, it happened to me. I am a results life coach, business and life. I'm not into bullshit. I'm into straight talk and fixing things. But I'm not being heard. So what did I do? I went straight up to the vice president and one of the presidents. I sent them both. I called them both. I found their numbers on the internet. I sent them a really nice message. Hey, Mr. President, so-and-so, Mr. President, so-and-so. It's a privilege and an honor to be able to even send this message to you. I'm a consumer at one of your dealers. I'm not being heard, sir. There's an issue with my vehicle. I respectfully ask you to respond. If they don't respond the first time, send another message. You keep sending messages. Sooner or later, they're going to say, you know what, this guy's a pest. He's a woodpecker. He keeps pecking at the wood tree. We got to do something with this individual. We have to learn to think with a higher intelligence today, because people are acting like animals. And if we're around that kind of a crowd, then we will become actors like an animal. And we know what happens to stray animals. We know what happens to those animals that are like a loose cannon. I watched a car run over. I actually stopped a couple of weeks ago. I was driving home and I stopped. There was a dog, and it looked like a German Shepherd, right in front of the road eating roadkill. I literally stopped. I thank God there was no cars behind me. I put my flashers on and I waited for that dog to get away from that area. Lo and behold, as I drove away, he ran back into the street right in front of a truck. The truck didn't slow down. Either the truck didn't see him. I believe he did. He ran him over, killed him. We can't run around like animals, friends. We must toughen up. We have to. We must. We must find the avenue. If it's through meditation, that's a very powerful tool to get yourself to where you could be. Simply meditating, using the power of your mind to mouth power connection, simply taking time to visualize where you want to go, who you want to become, what it is that you need to do, will transform. We must elevate. We must be living at a higher elevation, a higher vibration, a higher emotional intelligence. People are falling apart because they're below the standard. And this is what's happening in our world today. We're seeing it happen. Turn on the news. 10 people killed over here. Guy runs over a crowd and kills 3 children. Guy commits suicide. I remember Chris. You probably know who this guy is, several years ago. The Wolverine wrestler, and there's been many of them. Little Chris went home. I believe he lives in Texas. Went home one day. I believe he had an autistic boy. Chris, the wrestler, short man. Killed his wife. Killed his son. And I believe he hung himself. It saddens me. It brings tears to my eyes to see what's happening in the world today. It really does. And I'm not a very emotional person, but we're living in a world today that is crumbling right before our very eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of technology. There's a lot of great stuff out there. But people are not stepping up. And somebody has to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We need to start walking away out of these casinos. We need to stay away from the alcohol. We need to walk away from the cigarettes. We need to turn our backs from these drugs. They're coming over the border. Governor Abbott, from the governor of Texas, a couple of weeks ago, sent a very, very strong message to President Biden. We've got a serious problem in the border. It's getting worse. Every day, the caravans are coming. President Trump talked about that. They would push him back. Now, I don't agree with everything President Trump did, but he had some things right. He was trying to look out for the United States, man. They rushed him. They basically took him out of office. What's happening to our world? Post-tribulation period, my friend. I don't go to church. I'll never step foot in another church, but I can tell you one thing about the Bible, about the book of Proverbs. It's like a newspaper today. Read the Proverbs. Read Genesis chapter 6. In the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, and it was business as usual. But it also says that the mind of men were continually on evil. And then the end came. The flood came and took them all away. It was 8 souls, 8 people. That number 8 has a large significance. That number 8 has a very, very big significance. I'm not here to get spiritual, but my friend, there's a lot going on. And I don't know where you are in life. I don't know how your family is, but you as an individual, you must toughen up. You must find the way. And not tomorrow, not next week, because those people that died in that supermarket in Boulder, Colorado, they don't have next week. They don't have next month. They're gone. We're going to go down. We're either going to go down or we're going to stand up as a king, as a warrior. You know, these addictions, the alcohol, all of those things have a strong influence over many people. I've seen people, I have an uncle that passed away from cancer of the throat, locked himself in a room and just died. His son, my cousin, I believe my cousin found him. Beware. Beware the drug. Beware the alcohol. It'll cloud your mind. Beware the gambling. The casino will cloud your mind. You will not be able to think. You will not be able to use common sense. And once your money's gone, for a lot of people, that means that means they're ruined. They have nothing to live for. People are tied to the dollar so strongly that they would end up jumping out of a building because their money's gone. Forgetting common sense. Hey, I lost it all. I can start all over again. This is the persuasion. This is the influence that is captivating the minds of people all around us. That's all I have to say today. I'll be on my live broadcast, on my interactive live broadcast on Sunday at 7 p.m. here at Soldiers of Self-Mastery, YouTube TV, with a twist of mind-mouth power connection. I'll tell you what's gotten me free. I'll tell you what keeps me free. And I don't live in fear. I don't fear any man. I love that from the Martin Luther. I have a dream. He said, I may not make it there with you. I may not make it to the promised land with you, but I see a dream. And he talked about the vision that is happening. His people, our people, Americans, black, white. He says, I may not get there with you, but I recall the statement so powerfully. He said, I fear no man. I fear no man. And that's the attitude that you and I must have. I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that, my good friend. Sunday, I'm going to be interviewing a survivor. Her name is Jury Love. She's been raped by her own father. She's been abused. She was left homeless. She lost it all, just about. Somehow, somebody reached that woman. Through the mercies of God, God had a plan. She came out of it. She came out of it to become an author, to become a coach, a life coach, an advocate for rape victims, an advocate for homeless people. She was given an award by the Boston Celtics. She's from the Massachusetts area. You'll get to meet her. You'll hear her story on Sunday at 7:15. I'm going to encourage you to come and meet with us. You can ask your questions. Make sure that you have a box of tissues because you might even shed a tear or three. You don't want to miss this Sunday. It's coming very quickly. And if you're here listening to the sound of my voice, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to respectfully ask you to join and become a partner with what I'm doing. I'll help you. I'll help you cross that barrier that you're sitting, that it's in front of you. You might be living in total fear. You might not have any direction for your life. You might not have a job. You might be losing it all. You might be a gambler. You might be a drug addict. And you're here. I want to thank you. You've allowed me the privilege to come into your home, into your house. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to go now. Wow, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this. Rich Sapani, Panzer, and there was a few others that joined me. Thank you guys. Be safe, my good friends, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Actually, Friday I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to be doing a podcast with a gentleman by the name of Herbie. It won't be on my channel. It'll be on another channel, but I'll be able to probably post that. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my story. I'm going to be sharing where I come from. The dark pit. The casket that I was slowly slipping into. It wasn't closed. It was an open casket. And I'm very grateful to the Lord that I was able to get out of that casket before the lid fell and closed up. And I would be underground in a cement vault with a cement lid. Never to be heard from again. By the grace of God, I escaped that. Through mouth power, congruency. I probably should say connection because it's all about congruency. Mind, mouth power. You want to experience enormous self-power for yourself, for your everyday living, so you handle your business on a higher level. You deal with animals because I consider some people animals. They have that mentality. They act like animals. Mouth power. I'll be sharing that on the Herbie podcast, and I hope that thing goes around the world. With that said, my friends, I salute you. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Who knows, you'll catch me on another live soon. Yes, I'm going through a lot of changes, my friends. A lot. There's a few people that are like, Santos, are you okay? Are you, if you need me, you know what? I'm doing super fantastic, terrific, and over the top in spite of and because of the bullshit and the darkness and all of the stuff that I'm going through. In fact, I'm grateful for the challenges that I'm going through today because they're only serving me to become even stronger. A stronger alpha. Like Martin Luther said, I fear no man. I don't care. I'm 5'4". I've lost a lot of weight. What? Well, I'm losing weight because I'm exercising and I'm taking a product called amino acid. I don't care to be that muscular as I used to be. I used to weigh about 160 pounds on lifting 200 to 300 pounds on a bench, and I don't care for any of that. I'm more interested in emotional intelligence and making sure that I'm using my mind-mouth power in a congruent fashion so that I can serve those individuals, those young men between the ages of 40 and 55. Women are an exception. I don't really want to counsel with women that much. I will do it if I have to, or coach a woman if I have to, but that's the exception. My main mission is to develop an army of believers, men, alpha men, that will take these two items to the next level for themselves, and they will be crossing terror barriers like that, like that, like that, like that. Crossing terror barriers, no longer looking back, but forward, going forward. That's my job. I'll see you guys on my next live broadcast. Santos Rolon Jr., your mind, mouth, power, congruency life coach. Results life coach. I'm not just a life coach. I am a results. You want results in your life? Hang around. Watch my videos. Become a partner. Soldier Scribe. I'll see you at the top on the inside on my very next one, making every single day super fantastic, terrific, and over the top. In spite of the difficulties, in spite of the challenges, and because of the grace of the Almighty. Slow CZ. Santos, you would have been here if not for your past. It's all God's plan. I'll tell you, I'll share something with you guys. I spent a weekend in Arizona and I drove back. I'll share what happened, almost happened to me. So you're 100%. God ain't done with me yet. I'll tell you that much. He ain't done. He's got a purpose. And he's got a purpose for you too, Slow CZ. He's got a purpose for, is it Kaya Reich? I have also been through a lot, man. DC Native TV. The KU bro. Transparency. It's not easy. You have helped me. Thank you. I need you guys. Listen, if you can send me your testimonial, if I've helped you in some way, listen, I don't have tomorrow, my friends. I don't have tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to me, and neither it is for you. But if I've helped you in some way, send me an email and let me know how I've helped you, because that's going to go, your email, your message is going to touch somebody's lives through my website that is being it's under construction, but it's there, soldiersofselfmastery.com. I beg of you, I plead with you that you would take 5 minutes and send an email. It's not hard to do. Send an email, soldiersofselfmastery.com. In fact, you can even, if you go to my channel right here, you can see right up at the top, there's a bar scan or a scan code. Hold your phone over that and it'll put you right in my email, and you can just type it in. Within seconds, you can send me your testimony. Hey, Santos helped me this, and I want to make sure that I honor you and put you on my website. I need testimonials. I'm asking people, and you know, people come to my channel, I help, they say I helped them, and then I don't hear from them. That's not fair. That's not fair. Or that's not right. Fairness is not, I guess I should take that out, but that's not right. We need to work together. You know what? It's lonely at the top, my friends. That's what I feel. I'm glad that I feel this way, because I'm actually crashing through everything that I need to do, breaking through, even reaching higher limits in myself. But my friend, it's lonely. It's lonely. Not too many people understand me. Not too many people know what I'm going through. I don't need somebody to feel sorry for me. I don't need people's sympathy. What I need is people to join hands with me and make this mission go forward, so that we can save that teenager that is in front of his phone being advertised to with all of these influences. That might be your son. That might be your daughter. We want to reach them. It's about building an army of believers, of partners that are willing to break through that terror barrier. I need your help. Send me a testimony. Send me a message. And who knows, maybe I'll do something else in return for you. Maybe I'll send you a copy of my latest book, 15-Minute Mornings. We can do that digitally. Would you do that for me? Would you partner with me and do that for me? For us. For those that are out there looking for me, there's many that are looking for me. All right, my friends, I have to go because I can keep preaching and I'm not going to here. So thank you guys. Remember Sunday. Remember to send an email. Let me know how I helped you in some way. I'll send you a gift. I'll find a way to send you something really cool. If you'll do that for us and for humanity, for your family, for your friends.